Dumbledore's a complex character. When he's first introduced to us, he's hyped up like some sort of wizarding prodigy. As a boy, his magical brilliance turned heads, and as an adult, he defeated the dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald, became headmaster of Hogwarts, and was said to be the only wizard Voldemort ever truly feared. He's also known for his intellect, famously discovering the 12 uses of dragon's blood, publishing groundbreaking magical research, and earning countless awards and honors. To most, Dumbledore is the perfect blend of power and wisdom, a paragon of good. But the truth? Beneath all of the glory, the reality is far murkier. Because behind the half-moon glasses and whimsical quirks is a man haunted by guilt, a man with a past so dark, he spent the rest of his life trying to bury it. And while many of his past deeds have since been exposed, there's a lot to Dumbledore that people still don't think about. And I think it's quite possible that his hands aren't quite as clean as we give him credit for. Which is why today, we're going to uncover the 3 secrets he hoped no one would ever find out. Intro. Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Let's dive straight into these 3 dark truths, starting with Dumbledore's biggest secret. The tragedy of Dumbledore's sister, Ariana, is one that haunted him for the rest of his life. As you may recall from the Deathly Hallows, Ariana Dumbledore was attacked by Muggles at the age of 6 after being seen doing magic, an event that left her deeply traumatized. In fact, after this event, she stopped performing magic altogether, which caused her magical abilities to become dangerously unstable. Hidden away in Godric's Hollow, Ariana lived a secluded life, rarely seen by anyone outside the family. However, tragedy struck again when, during an emotional outburst, she accidentally killed her mother. And so, with her father imprisoned for retaliating against her attackers, guardianship fell to her older brother, Albus. With great resentment, Dumbledore returned to Godric's Hollow to care for his younger, unwell sister, just as his life had been about to get started. And incidentally, it was not long after he returned home that Ariana lost her life. Present at the time of Ariana's death was Albus, his younger brother, Aberforth, and Gellert Grindelwald. Here's how it unfolded in Aberforth's words. I pulled out my wand, and he pulled out his, and I had the Cruciatus curse used on me by my brother's best friend, and Albus was trying to stop him, and then all 3 of us were dueling, and the flashing lights and the bangs set her off. She couldn't stand it. The color was draining from Aberforth's face as though he had suffered a mortal wound. And I think she wanted to help, but she didn't really know what she was doing. And I don't know which of us did it. It could have been any of us, and she was dead. Basically, it's very unclear who was directly responsible for her dying. And even decades later, while visiting Harry in death, Dumbledore admits that he never fully knew who killed her. It was the truth I feared. You see, I never knew which of us, in that last horrific fight, had actually cast the curse that killed my sister. I dreaded beyond all things the knowledge that it had been I who brought about her death. But, is this just another lie? Dumbledore had lied many times before, especially to Harry, and this has led me to speculate that perhaps her death, even if he later regretted what he did, was never an accident at all. Dumbledore was many things, brilliant, visionary, powerful, but also ambitious. And for a brief moment in his life, that ambition consumed him. Alongside Grindelwald, he dreamt of reshaping the world, of building a new magical order where wizards ruled over Muggles. For the greater good, it's easy to forget just how deep into that ideology Albus had fallen. And in that context, Ariana was a problem. A fragile, unstable girl with unpredictable magic that had already killed once. She couldn't be taken along in this new world order, nor could she be left alone. She was an obstacle to his plans, to his freedom, and maybe even to his relationship with Grindelwald. Therefore, I'd like to put forth the theory that in the chaos of the duel, in the flashing lights and shouted spells, Dumbledore saw his chance. And in that split second he made a terrible, heart-wrenching choice, but a choice nonetheless. A way to silence the one thing tying him to a life he no longer wanted. And if that's the case, if he did do it, if he made the conscious decision to eliminate her, it would explain why he could never bring himself to seek the truth. Because while Grindelwald fled and Aberforth grieved, Dumbledore spent the rest of his life atoning. He turned away from power. He refused the role of minister for magic. He fought for peace, mentored Harry, and ultimately sacrificed himself to make things right. All of it, every act of goodness, could have been his way of burying the darkest truth of all, that in his pursuit of the greater good, he destroyed the one person he should have protected most. False redemption. There's a moment in the Deathly Hallows that I feel often gets glossed over, and it's the hilltop meeting between an extremely desperate Severus Snape and Albus Dumbledore. At this point, Snape is still a Death Eater, a man loyal to Voldemort, responsible for delivering the prophecy that would lead to Lily Potter's death. And yet here he is, pleading for her life, and turning to the very leader of the opposition for help.
At this point in time Snape was a proven liar, a servant of Voldemort, and by any measure, completely untrustworthy. But according to J.K. Rowling, Dumbledore chose to meet Snape because he believed in the idea that even broken people can still be reached. She said he was compassionate enough to sense that Snape, though he has led a despicable adult life, has something human left inside him, something that can be redeemed. But I don't think it was really about redemption. Because when we look at what followed, the life Snape led under Dumbledore's direction, it doesn't look like mercy. It looks like punishment. Snape confessed his love for Lily and begged Dumbledore to save her. But once she was dead, Dumbledore didn't offer him comfort or closure. Instead, he weaponized that grief. He demanded that Snape protect Harry, the child Snape once resented, not out of principle, but as a form of repayment. "You disgust me," Dumbledore once told him. "You do not care, then, about the deaths of her husband and child. They can die, as long as you have what you want." Snape's loyalty from that moment onward was tied not to a belief in good, but to the crushing weight of guilt. Dumbledore didn't recruit Snape for who he was, he chained him to a cause using Lily's death as the leash. Snape became a double agent, endured endless suspicion, risked his life repeatedly, and ultimately died for a boy he never wanted to protect. All because Dumbledore knew how to press the right buttons. So when people say Dumbledore saved Snape or gave him a chance for redemption, we have to ask, did he save him? Or use him until there was nothing left? If you need more convincing, just look at Dumbledore's relationship with Harry. Many fans believe he deliberately raised Harry as a sacrificial lamb, fully aware that he would eventually have to die to eliminate the Horcrux inside him. Throughout Harry's life, Dumbledore carefully orchestrated events, disclosing critical truths only when absolutely necessary and quietly guiding him toward a destiny he never chose. If he was able to so easily manipulate Harry, someone on his side, I can only imagine the lengths he would go to manipulate a member of the opposition like Snape. He let everyone die. It's well known that Dumbledore raised Harry like a pig for slaughter. But what if Harry wasn't the only sacrifice? What if the people around him, his friends, mentors, even his family, were just pawns in Dumbledore's larger game? Throughout his years at Hogwarts, Harry formed deep bonds, but he also suffered tremendous loss. And given his close proximity to Albus Dumbledore, the most powerful wizard of the age, it raises a troubling question: why did so many of them die? Could he have intervened? Of course. But he didn't, so why? Here's what I think: Dumbledore believed in the power of suffering. Not as cruelty, but as transformation. And throughout Harry's life, he allowed death to become the greatest teacher of all. When Cedric Diggory died, it shattered Harry's innocence. Dumbledore knew the Triwizard Tournament had been compromised, knew something dark was rising, but still let it play out. Cedric's death wasn't an accident. It was a turning point. From that moment on, Harry understood, the world wasn't fair, and people would die. When Sirius fell through the veil, Dumbledore said nothing that might have prevented it, despite knowing full well that Voldemort was manipulating Harry's emotions. He withheld the full prophecy, withheld the truth, and let Harry walk straight into the Ministry. Sirius was Harry's last hope for a real family, and losing him forced Harry to let go of personal dreams, and take up the mantle of war. Even Dumbledore's own death was deliberate. He knew his time was short, knew the curse on his hand would kill him. But rather than die quietly, he turned his death into strategy. He arranged for Snape to kill him, preserving Draco's soul, strengthening Snape's position with Voldemort, and above all, removing the safety net that Harry still clung to. Without Dumbledore, Harry had to lead. He had to grow. These deaths weren't random. They were milestones. One by one, the people Harry loved were stripped away, not in spite of Dumbledore's plans, but because of them. Pain forged purpose. And when the time finally came for Harry to walk into the Forbidden Forest and offer himself up to die, there was no fear. No hesitation. He was ready, because Dumbledore made sure he would be. In the end, Dumbledore didn't just prepare Harry for battle. He prepared him for sacrifice. And to do that, he used death itself as the lesson. And that's it for this video. What do you think? Was Dumbledore a puppet master pulling the strings on everyone? Or are we needlessly challenging his character? Let me know down in the comments section below. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.